what can be done like on an international level? Just because I know like some countries like China are like one of the biggest producers of greenhouse gases, and they're unwilling to make any changes. Just because I mean they have a good point that when the U.S. was developing, like there were no restrictions on what it could do, and now that they're at that stage,
Yeah, totally.
it's sort of a hard thing to impose on them. But
It is. That's a great point. And more than China, who's actually much further along. You've got India, you've got Pakistan, you've got Brazil, you've got South Africa. Like all of these countries are essentially having their industrial revolutions now.
and more countries are going to keep having it.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's just
this problem is going to get
good.
much worse as we go on because billions of people are getting used to a standard of living that's closer and closer to ours. And consumption-wise, we use way more than anybody else on the planet. Americans use way more. So that's a great question. The short answer is, well, it has a couple of parts. I agree that we have no moral authority to tell other people, like, we did this, but you shouldn't do it because it's going to kill the planet. Instead, what we should do is, A, lead by example. We have this unsettling feeling like we're losing our leadership place in the world these days, I feel like. But we're still the most powerful and most influential nation in the world, and the world still follows our lead. It follows our lead militarily, economically, and in all other sectors. So if we get our shit together on this, other people will see that and see the value in it, and will follow our lead. China actually has a much better handle on this than we do. I think they just passed us in terms of their size, the size of their economy, and even the amount of pollution that they put into the atmosphere. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to check. And they have a new coal plant coming on like every 5 days or something horrible like that. So they're going to keep being bad for a while. But this is really a problem of like what's happening and then what continues to happen once we get policies in place. So China is actually doing a very good job on this, and they're getting better bit by bit. We have basically nothing going on with climate change in the United States right now, but China is developing a large portion, I mean large by our standards anyway, like 5% of their GDP to solving this problem. And they had one child policy back, whatever it was, 30 or 40 years ago to start working on this problem. And they really do take a society-wide look at how many people they have and what it's going to take to support them.